Now traveling in the who did I travel with in the States? So I traveled. I tried to travel with Edge and Christian, but like they're a bit too straight laced for me. So like I felt guilty about anything I did. But they were great guys. But they ate a lot of Outback steakhouses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was good, but I wasn't a whole like I didn't like to sit down and have this whole procedure to eat. Like I wanted to be quick. I mean, I ate well, but I just didn't want it to be like a 2-hour meal. Like I wanted to get to that next town.
I understand that. Yeah.
So, where they wanted to sit down and talk life. Then I traveled. I tried to travel with Luna. That didn't always work out so well. Sometimes I would literally get my own hotel room because, like, I needed some sleep. She was 24/7. I'm alive and awake, mother, mofos. So she was too wide open for me. So sometimes I literally would get my own room. Like one time, true story, I traveled with her and Dustin, and I was just I wasn't under a contract yet, and I went up there and I wrote. I got my own car. Like, they were just too insane. They were fighting like a married couple. Like, bah, 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 bah. And I was like, oh, I can't take this. So I had to get my own car. So I'm really weird who I travel with. So for a while, I traveled with Big Boss Man, and that was good. Unless Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett was in there, then it was getting out of hand. like could be a crazy ride. And then for a while, I traveled with Jarrett, which was good. It was cool, calm. And that was a good ride. I rotated a lot of rides. But the steady ride that I stuck with the most was Benoit Guerrero. Now that was it was a ride that I was good with. The only thing hard about that ride is they could get a pass coming in a little late to Raw, the TVs, where I couldn't. Like they could walk in, but Vince or somebody be standing there and they just look at me like you cannot walk in here at 1:30 or whatever when the call time's 1. But when I traveled with them, it was intense. They would sit down to a long breakfast, but they would get up early. They didn't sleep in. It wasn't like they were sloughing out. They'd get up, they'd eat a big breakfast, and then they'd go to the gym for 2 hours. And then, we'd get to the building when we got to the building. And then the rides at the end of the night were they would break down the whole day. I always did the driving, so I would drive. They would literally call ahead to the Marriott or wherever they're staying and have the meal ordered. Like 2 bottles of wine, they would have that. So, because they would get the last meal, and I would just push that speed limit, and I'd pull us in there right till we could sit down and eat. But they were intense because I couldn't afford to stay at the hotels they stayed at. So I like to stay by myself, but they were like, no, you got to stay with us. And because, Chris Benoit, he was trying to keep me from partying and doing crazy things. And then Eddie, me and Eddie were a lot alike. So, like, it was dangerous when I stayed with Eddie. But I had to rotate with them because I couldn't afford the hotel. So they said, no, you're going to stay one night each. So they didn't like the room share either, but they didn't want me to stay somewhere else. So when I would stay with Chris, it would be like a marathon. This is your time. You got to stay focused. You got to get your head right. You need to study the game, the wrestling and this and this and that. And it was all business. No, when I would stay with Eddie the next night, it would be like, we'd watch movies. That's all. We'd put movies on to try to not think. Didn't want to think. Chris would think. Chris would think.
Any movies that you remember?
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I probably watched some bad Mel Gibson movies. I don't know. It was like whatever was on the in demands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we put something on. Not Titanic though.
No,
no, not Titanic. But then eventually we'd be like, you know a guy, I know a guy, and then we'd end up getting in trouble. We'd sneak out, and then the next morning we'd go into the lobby to meet Chris, and Chris would look at us with disgust, like, and Chris was no angel, but at this point in his career, he was focused and dialed in on stuff. He has his past, his history apart, but so he wasn't like gonna throw stones at glass houses, but he just would give you a look, and I remember Eddie go, at least I did cardio at like 4 a.m, and I'd be like, I watch porn. While Eddie was gone doing the cardio, I don't know what to say. Like he would just shake his head, and then but they were like my favorite ride. I learned so much because they would break the day down at night. They would break down from the minute they walked in the door, everything that went on in the building, everybody's reactions, matches, what other matches happened, what people are doing, and it was just such an intense learning experience, and one night, it just my education would carry on with Chris. All business is serious, and then I get one night with Eddie where we'd cut loose and be a little silly and let our hair down. But then it was back to business in the car and back to business with Chris that night. So it was my most enjoyable ride, and I learned the most of that, and I valued that friendship of both of them. So yeah, so that was like my rides in the States.
Just not Titanic.
Not Titanic, no.
Wow. Oh man.